Now at noon, the search is on for a group of suspects, possibly LA Unified students wanted in a series of flash mob robberies at a local retail stores. Thanks for joining us for the KTLA 5 News at noon. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. Some of the crimes were caught on surveillance video.
Police are now trying to track down the suspects. KTLA 5's Lauren Lister live in downtown LA with the latest developments. Lauren?
Glenn and Lou, LA Unified responding new at this hour after an LAPD retail crime task force said some of their students may be part of a flash mob robbery crew accused in several robberies in LA. Take a look at this. We have surveillance video that LAPD has provided us showing some of these robberies in action. LAPD organized retail crime task force reports there's been a series of these flash mob style robberies at local retail stores within a few miles of each other from Boyle Heights to Southgate, involving 10 to 20 suspects they believe are from the same crew. Here you can see them in action. They're suspected in 9 robberies of WSS clothes and shoe stores. LAPD says the crew enters the stores in the evening hours wearing hooded sweatshirts, stealing merchandise, and then fleeing on bicycles. Police say the suspects have used force and displayed a lack of regard for the safety of witnesses and victims. Here are photos from the LAPD because they want help from the public now to identify these suspects. They believe they're between the ages of 15 and 25 years old. They say it is likely that at least some of the suspects attend Los Angeles Unified School District schools near the targeted stores. Here's a map of the locations they are suspected of robbing. Police say they are all WSS stores. Some of them hit multiple times. One of them hit 5 times. And Lieutenant tells me about one of these robberies per week since March 3rd is what they are seeing and believe this crew is involved in. Now, LA Unified in a statement new at this hour telling me while they can't comment on the ongoing police investigation, they do state the safety and well-being of students and the broader community are of the utmost importance to the district. And they say it's unknown if the persons involved are students in their district. They say we actively reinforce the importance of responsible behavior and good citizenship among students through ongoing education and support programs. Back out here live, anyone with information is asked to call LAPD. We've also reached out to, yeah, we are. We'll be with you in one moment. We're going to go ahead and send it back to you.
All right, a grandfather was shot and killed after opening the front door of his home.
And now police are hoping a reward will bring in new clues to find his killer. KTLA 5's Corrine Winter live in Southgate with more on this case. Hi, Corrine.
Lou, $30,000, a $30,000 reward. That's how much officials are offering in this case for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person responsible for the shooting. It occurred last September 2023, just weeks before the victim's 58th birthday.
Hector answered the door and was met by a male who fired one gunshot, striking Hector and causing him to collapse to the floor. Hector's 9-year-old granddaughter witnessed the incident. Hector died at the scene.
And here's a photo of that victim, Hector Asensio Sr. You just heard that detective describe. He was shot and killed after walking to the front door of his son's home. Someone knocked at the door. He was answering it when that shooting occurred. He and his wife, they were at the home babysitting their grandchildren. This took place in the 2500 block of Glenwood Place in Southgate. And the victim's granddaughter was a person who called 911, but it was too late. By the time paramedics arrived there at the scene, they just could not save him. It's unclear why Asensio was targeted, but there was surveillance video that captured some really critical information for detectives. A gray or silver 4-door vehicle was seen racing from the location.
We're here today because we need to deliver that justice for the Asensio family. Most people will never know the pain and the shock that they are feeling. In what should have been his safest space, his own home, Hector Asensio was savagely and senselessly murdered.
Pain, shock, trauma, sorrow, those are all emotions that the family's going through right now. But officials say, they're looking for some closure here. It won't bring back their loved ones, but they do want justice in this case. They want that shooter apprehended and for that person to face the full extent of the law. If anyone has information out there in this case, you're urged to immediately contact authorities. That's the latest here in Southgate. Corinne Winter, KTLA 5 News.
All right, thank you, Corinne. Police in Sunland continue to investigate after a woman's body was discovered in a trash can. The decomposing body was found yesterday morning on the 8500 block of Wentworth Street. LAPD officers made the discovery after responding to calls for a foul smell. Police say the body was stuffed inside of a bag in a trash can on the curb, but the trash can does not belong to the neighborhood. Authorities say the victim is a woman in her 30s or 40s, but have not released her identity. It is still unclear how the woman died and how long her body had been inside. No suspect information has been released.
A woman who accused a former Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer of sexual assault has been charged with fraud in Arizona. A grand jury indictment unsealed Monday accuses Darcy Esimonu of fraud and theft by extortion against Bauer and another man. Esimonu sued Bauer, saying he raped her and got her pregnant in 2020. She demanded money to terminate the pregnancy, but later said she had a miscarriage. Now she is accused of faking that pregnancy. Bauer says he did not rape Esimonu and was never arrested or charged. Esimonu could face more than 16 years if convicted on both charges.
A former Boeing engineer tells lawmakers in Washington today that the company's 787 Dreamliner planes could break apart in flight.
It was testimony during a Senate committee hearing on claims of shoddy manufacturing quality by the aircraft company. KTLA 5's Alina Bobian joining us from the newsroom with those details. Hi, Alina.
Hi there. Well, we've been listening in on the testimony, and there are stunning allegations coming out. Not only did the whistleblowers speak out, but also a handful of witnesses from within the Boeing company, all of them saying there were cover-ups, a lack of accountability, and serious issues with the mechanics of the 787. Now, take a look. This is Sam Salapur, the whistleblower, an engineer with the company. He testified to a U.S. subcommittee that his boss threatened him several times after he voiced concerns. Ahead of today's testimony, the whistleblower sounded the alarm during an interview with NBC News, saying the Boeing 787 Dreamliner jet is at risk of, quote, premature failure and could quite literally drop to the ground due to assembly failures. Salapur sent documents from within the Boeing company to the Federal Aviation Administration to investigate. The Boeing Dreamliner has been flying since 2011, made of lightweight composite material typically thought of to be stronger than the aluminum fuselage. The concern that the fuselage could create fatigue failure after a certain number of flights and could essentially fall apart mid-altitude. Now, these allegations are all according to the whistleblower. Boeing has had a tumultuous year after a door plug blew out on an Alaskan Airlines 787 MAX 9 in January. The manufacturer has since been under investigation by the FAA. The FAA found that Boeing may have failed to provide accurate safety reports. The Justice Department has since opened a criminal probe.
I have analyzed Boeing's own data to conclude that the company is taking manufacturing shortcuts on the 787 program that may significantly reduce the airplane safety. Boeing's standard says that these gaps must be closed, usually by a small shim or filler called a shim when they exceed 0.005 of an inch. This seems very small. Boeing's PR team to call it the width of a human hair when you are operating at 35,000 feet. Details are that the size of a human hair can be a matter of life and death.
In response to the allegations, Boeing sent this response to NBC News saying, "We are fully confident in the 787 Dreamliner because of the comprehensive work done to ensure the quality and long-term safety of the aircraft. These claims about the structural integrity of the 787 are inaccurate. These issues do not present any safety concerns." Now, Boeing also went on to say that they ran more than 165,000 test landings and takeoffs, and that's 3 times more than the typical lifespan of the 787. They also inspected about 700 planes already in service, saying that they found zero evidence of fatigue. We'll send it back to you.
Alina, thank you. The Anaheim City Council has approved a $1.9 billion plan that would expand Disneyland. The council approved that plan, called Disneyland Forward, on a unanimous 7-0 vote last night. Calls for theme park attractions alongside hotels west of Disneyland Drive. There will also